Alright everyone, hello and welcome to Getting Started with World of Warcraft. So far, if you follow the tutorials, we have created a character. We chose to make a female undead hunter on the realm Agramar. So what I'm going to show you today is a little bit of the user interface, how to navigate the options, settings, and how to really get your gameplay started, and we'll probably get through a couple of levels. I wanted to start from the very beginning, and hopefully I get this right the first time. That way you guys can see the cinematic and what it's like when you actually log into a character that you've created for the first time. So, here we go. So we're going to enter the world with a double click. Wait for the loading screen. My computer hasn't been on in a couple of days, so it's going to be working pretty hard if you hear it kick up every now and then, the fans in it. So, here we go.
Though Lady Sylvanas and her Forsaken finally took vengeance upon their hated enemy, the Lich King, their dark crusade in Northrend proved costly. Betrayed by Grand Apothecary Putrus at the Battle of Wrathgate, the Forsaken's devious plague of death was unleashed upon both the Alliance and the Horde to calamitous effect. Unbeknownst to Sylvanas, Putrus and his demonic ally, Veramathras, had taken control of the Undercity. As a result, the Forsaken were wrongly blamed for the traitor's atrocities. Though the Undercity was eventually retaken, Sylvanas and her followers still bear the weight of Putrus' sins. Mistrusted by the other members of the Horde, the Forsaken must now prove their loyalty to the cause and redeem themselves from their supposed treachery. To this end, Sylvanas has bolstered her defenses within the Tirisfal Glades and readied her undead forces for any contingency. As one of the Forsaken, you must use your cunning and viciousness to slay any who would pose a threat to Sylvanas' rule, be they human, undead, or otherwise.
Alright, so this is where you start out, and this is an area called Tirisfal Glade. And if you take a look at just kind of what you're seeing on the screen, there's a character with an exclamation mark. Over in this corner you have your player frame, you have a chat box, action bars, and a mini map. All of these are you can change them. Basically they are, you can put them where you want them, how you want them, and since this is World of Warcraft and millions of people across the globe play, millions of people also work on things called add-ons, which you can download and install if you decide that you want your game to look differently. So to get started, we are going to talk to this woman named Agatha. When you click on an NPC, which is what she is, she's a non-player controlled character, a little story will pop up. And this kind of goes into how you want to play World of Warcraft. If you want to read all of the story and really get into the lore, or if you just want to hit accept without reading because you're ready to get started playing. So, we arose from the dead and here we are to fight in Sylvanas' undead army. This is the character that we've created. What I wanted to do for this video was go through the user interface and show you how to kind of optimize it and what I do when I first create a character. So the very first thing I do is I hit escape to open up my game menu, and I'm going to go straight to interface. This interface options will bring up a whole bevy of options that I can change, but the first thing that I do is I turn on auto loot. Auto loot will allow me to automatically loot the characters that I kill, so that way I don't have to actually spend an extra click to get the goodies off of them. A lot of these other things you can, if you decide you don't want to be social, you can block trades and guild invites and things like that, so that way you don't actually have to play with other people. If you noticed that there are other people popping up around us, because these are other players who have created characters and are logging on to play the game. So just like we just logged on to play, other people are too. In terms of the combat options, I don't really mess with anything. It's pretty nice the way it is so far. Display, once we get more gear, we would be able to say if we want to see our cloak or helm or aggro sounds and cinematic subtitles, which are always really nice for those cutscenes that the game will play once we get through to them. The next thing that I'm actually going to make a change to is the action bars. I like to show all of my action bars because I can move various buttons that we'll get into around, so that way they're a little bit more spread out. And then names, we'll turn on our name so that way we have it. I have a title, but I'll probably turn it off. Floating combat text, status text, all of this stuff is just kind of basic settings that you kind of want to make sure that you have. And you can always go in, and if you decide you want your mouse to be inverted, you can invert it because you have the option to do so. So if I go back to if I hit accept and go back to my game, we're going to hit return to character. And hunters start out, to pull up your spell book, you press P, or you can click it down in the bottom. So down here is your main action bar. This is where your spells and abilities will go. This is your, if you want to see what character stats and what your gear is, you're going to click on character info, your spells and abilities, your achievements, quest log for anything. And the nice thing about World of Warcraft is it has a built-in tutorial. So if I had never played before and I wasn't watching a cool video, I would still be able to kind of figure out what the different things in the game did. So if you kind of have that at your disposal also. Alright, so that's what our map looks like, and basically we're on one quest right now, which we accepted from Agatha back here. We're going to go report to Undertaker Mordo at the Death Knell Graves in Tirisfal Glades. But that's our map if we wanted to see it. And then we have collections, which is various toys, mounts, heirlooms, and I can explain about those once we get further along here. The game menu, which was the same option that I did when I hit escape. And finally your bags. Right now when you build a character, you only have one bag. You have the option to add up to 4 more. And they can vary as many from 12 items in a bag to 36 items in a bag. Having backspace is really nice, actually. So when you get started and you first build your character and you rise from the dead, you start off with one shot that is on your action bar. And the shot that we start off with is called Arcane Shot. It's an instant shot that causes 15 arcane damage. I'm going to leave it on this row right here just because when you're starting the game, you don't get that many spell points or talents or abilities. But as we continue to play, we'll get more and unlock more, and we'll be able to eventually fill up this bar and many of the other ones. But I'll leave it right here for now. If you look really closely, you can see that there's little capital S on here, and that basically means Shift S. I have another concept that I'm going to discuss called keybinds. I play with keybinds, and I really think that it makes for a more optimal and smooth gameplay. But for now, we're just going to leave it where it is. And basically what a keybind is if I hit Shift S, it will cause my character to perform this ability that is assigned to this button. The next thing that I want to do, since I'm pretty happy with the bar here, I'm going to move the player frame up here. Move these. Move frame. Oh. So you right click the move frame and hit unlock frame. That way we'll be able to drag and drop it down to where we want to see it. If you notice that it has my player frame as well as the spider frame. Spider is our pet because we're a hunter and we get pets. At level 10 you unlock new pets and you're able to tame new scary creatures to do your bidding in battle. Again, you can right click it to see what options there are. You can set targets on top of your pet in case your spider goes running off and you don't know where he went. But if we want to leave it here, we can do move frame and we can lock it. And then we're going to do the same thing with our target frame. So basically the target frame is a frame that appears whenever we select on a character. Whether it's an NPC like our pet or Agatha or another player like this guy, Eskern. So Now that we've kind of taken a look, we moved our user frame around, and if you look at the mini map up here, you'll kind of see there's a question mark on there. There is a little green paw. When I hover on it, it says rat. That basically means that I can battle this pet because World of Warcraft has Pokemon too. And if you don't know what Pokemon is, that's another internet search for another day. But we're going to turn track pets off for the time being, that way it declutters our mini-map some. And basically the last thing that I have to explain for this video, I think, is going to be the difference between an exclamation mark and a question mark. When we first started this game, Agatha had an exclamation mark above her. Exclamations are things that NPCs want you to do. They're like, hey, I need to get your attention because I have a task for you. When you see a character that has a question mark over it, that means that you've completed the task and it's time to go turn in the quest to get another one. So if I were to go talk to Undertaker Mordo and click complete quest, he would then have a new quest for me to accept. And now that this gray question mark is here, but if I hover over him, it's a yellow exclamation mark. It'd be because he gave me a task. This gray question mark signifies that I have not completed that task yet. But if I look on my mini-map at this light blue circle, that's the area that I have to go to complete Undertaker Mordo's task. Okay guys, so that's pretty simple in this video. We recapped the user interface. We set up our extra action bars. I showed you about the different options that are down at the bottom of the action, the main action bar. We moved our player frame and task frame down to the bottom so we can see it more easily. And I showed you about the mini-map. I think that's it. Have a great night.